Mic on, will you?
Yeah, I gotta do something else here. Hang on a minute, people, please. Okay, agenda has been approved. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same. Passes unanimously. Next up, we have public comment. If you're a commissioner applicant, you can introduce yourself if you want, but keep in mind, at the end of the meeting, you're getting your own special time. So it's up to you if you want to introduce yourself now, or you will be called up. There will be a drawing out of a hat, each name, so there's no particular order right now that I can tell you. We're trying to do that in an effort of fairness. Any public comment? Mike Way, please announce your name.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Mike Way. I'm from Summit Township. I'm applying for reappointment to the Parks Board. I've been on the Parks Board for about 15 years. I'm currently the chairperson of the Parks Board. As many of you know, we passed Parks millage 3 years ago. As our whole Parks Board worked very hard on that, going door to door and putting on presentations to service clubs, and we passed it surprisingly very comfortably, well, somewhat comfortably. One thing that happened after that is when we passed the millage, we had all the general fund from the county pulled back, and so now we're working with just the millage money and just the fees that we get from like campgrounds, the falls, the golf course, and things like that. So one thing our Parks Board has really strived to do is get partners for a lot of our projects, and we've been pretty successful for that. Out Portage Lake County Park, we put in a playground out there. We had a neighbor step forward and wrote a check for half the project. So that helped us save some money, and so we could put money towards the other county parks. I worked with Senator Shirkey on some money for the dredging the lagoons out to the Sparks Park. He came through for $1 million to help dredge. It's going to be more than $1 million, but again, we're being active to get partners to help leverage our millage dollars. The project that we just completed with the fundraising is a pickleball complex out to Sparks Park. There's some tennis courts out there that we're going to recycle into a state-of-the-art pickleball complex. Our director Lewis was successful in a DNR grant for $300,000 for that pickleball complex, and myself and the Jackson Pickleball Association took a challenge to raise half of the money for the complex, which at that point was $225,000. Last week we got one final contribution that took us up to $300,000. So we'll be building a state-of-the-art pickleball complex at Sparks Park, and not a dime will come out of the Parks millage. We can use that money to leverage for a lot of the out-county parks. So
Seconds, Mike.
So we're really doing a good job. We're being good stewards of our taxpayers' money, and we're proud of it, and I'm looking for your support to continue that work in the Parks Board. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Any further comment? You have 3 minutes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Morning, Commissioners. David Elwell. As you know, I'm here seeking reappointment to the Library Board. As you recall, you appointed me earlier this year for a partial term. I'm seeking reappointment to the full term. I've enjoyed serving there. In the short time I've been on there, I've taken many things that I learned here at the Board of Commissioners, including openness and fiscal responsibility, to try and bring some of those changes to the board there. and I look forward to serving if you choose to recommend reappointment. Also, I went through your agenda, and I note item F on the printed agenda is a proposal for the chief medical examiner. You know, my previous employment, I worked with Dr. Mano for many years, well deserving of what's proposed for him, and I'm hopeful that you do approve it. Thank you.
Welcome.
Peter Bormuth, I wanted to address the District 7 Commissioner appointment. As you know, that district has been held by a black Democrat for the preceding 27 years. And so therefore, the voters have spoken in a way. And I hope that the board will be cognizant of the fact that there's that precedent, and I hope they will give fair consideration to the black Democratic candidates who come before you today. I also want to say that probably the most important thing in this appointment is to select someone who is capable of re-election, because they're only going to serve for 1 year, and they're going to be new to this board. County government is a fairly complex thing. It took me a full year to comprehend the extent of the county's responsibilities and the structure. So this person who comes in should be able to get re-election. I think that is a really important point. And I would, advocate that the board take that point into consideration. Thank you.
Good morning, Commission. My name is Tasha Carter, and I am here seeking appointment for District 7. Figured I'd use this extra 3 minutes to share some basic information about myself, and then when we actually interview, you can ask me more in-depth questions. So, Tasha Carter, born and raised in Jackson. I'm a lifelong resident here in Jackson. I have lived in District 7 my whole life. Grew up on the north side, and then in my adult life, I raised my children on the south side, and still live in that same house. I raised my kids here. My grandkids were born and are being raised here. In addition to my immediate family, I also have a very large extended family. So I'm totally vested in the community, very well connected, and considered a trusted resource. Academically, I hold a master's degree in organizational management and a bachelor's in business leadership. I've worked for the local health system for 20 plus years, and I will say that in the past, I've been very vocal about remaining on the other side of the fence and not attempting to seek seats like yours. I think in the past, I've thought that applying those levers and applying challenge to those who hold the decision-making power, that would make you more accountable. But in this last year, during COVID, I've had the opportunity to work on several boards. I'm on the Community Action Agency Board. I also started a resident-led group in last year. We've sought out and secured over $1 million. And most of that money has been directly invested into the people to improve the community. So I think combined with my professional portfolio, my connections with the community, my lifelong experience in the community, I am a good asset. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Chairman and members of the board. My name is Dina Morgan. I live in the 7th District at 245 East Robinson Street. As you know, I have applied to be appointed to the District 7 seat that was left vacant after Daniel Mahoney was sworn in as mayor of the city of Jackson on December 1st. I am the 4th generation of the Dungy family. I'm the fourth family servant, the founder and chief executive director of the Dungy Tree Heritage Foundation, a community-based 501c3 nonprofit organization with deep roots in our community. As I work hard as chief executive director for our organization, I will be doing the same as Jackson County Commissioner. I will work tirelessly to focus on the state of the county government and the state of our entire community. And provide a voice to the citizens and inform them with my eyes open and ears to the ground, and come back and make a recommendation to the board. I would like to note that I am 100% nonpartisan. I have Republican and Democratic friends and supporters. And we know that COVID-19 exposed the historic poverty issue in District 7 that has been ignored for too long. More than 60% of children in District 7 are living in poverty. We need the guns off the street, we need the homeless off the street, and we need help for our mental health community. Lastly, I have an immense desire to focus on Lifeways in the Youth Detention Center and the Jackson County Jail. The Dungy Tree Heritage Foundation has a lot of different programs to help the community. We have youth programs and adult services programs. We're connected with a lot of different organizations, such as Lifeways, Region 2, Smiles on Wheels at the Health Department, a lot of different agencies, even the Jackson District Library. So I thank you for your consideration, and I look forward to serving my community and working with the other candidates if I'm not selected. I'm all about community, and I just ran a successful campaign. I ran as a city council for Ward 1, and I ran my own campaign without any funding, without any experience.
Time's up, ma'am.
And thank you for your support. Thank you for your consideration. Thank you.
Hello, Commissioners. My name is Jeremy Alexander. Most recently, I served the City of Jackson as the council member for District 3. Ward 3. They gave me a unique experience to get to know the voters, especially in Ward 3, which is the northern half of District 7. There's 3,800 constituents that I represented there, and I believe there's about another 3,700 constituents in the city's Ward 2, which would be directly south of Ward 3, where I currently served. With that experience legislatively over the last 4 years, I think I have a direct opportunity to be able to serve and represent District 7 on this county board. This district has been well represented as has been told by the last 27 years by somebody of a different color skin than mine. However, in the year 2021, I don't think that's relevant in any way, shape, or form. And I hope that this county board would agree that that is also not relevant. Moving on, I've got this history of service for the last 4 years. I've been serving Ward 3, and I can easily begin to serve the entirety of District 7. Two, I believe that I'm going to be able to earn that support. I've had a great relationship with my constituents over the last 4 years, and professionally, I've got a job that, well, takes a lot of my time in the summer, so I've had to make a professional decision to take off next season from my professional career. I will not be skydiving next year so that I can run a campaign to earn and keep this office. Moving on, as far as myself, I like to walk a fine line. I find that in life, the answer between good and evil is down the center of our chest, and I found that in legislative experience, the ability to say yay or nay is also just as difficult. In 4 years, I don't think I had an easy vote, and in the next year on this board, I don't think I'll have an easy vote as well. However, that is, I believe, that the way we live our lives. We live our life by our own conscience. We vote our vote that supports and shows our love towards the constituents that we represent. With that, I hope that you guys will consider me for the appointment today. The appointment whenever you guys decide to give that this month to fill District 7. And with that, again, my name is Jeremy Alexander, and it's been a pleasure to speak with you today. Thank you.
All right, just following along, I guess I should introduce myself and take this time. My name is Thaddeus Williams from Jackson, born and raised here right down the street from the fairgrounds on Blackstone. Graduated from Jackson High, went to Jackson Community College, associate's degree, transferred on to Eastern Michigan. I have a bachelor's in social science. Started off to be a teacher in education, but came back to Jackson and actually took an opportunity with a couple of my childhood friends to start a business, Stop On Insurance over on West Ave. We've been in operation for 4 years. We actually have another franchise in Ypsilanti, also 3 in Lansing. So that's 5 total locations in under about 6 years. So definitely interested in Jackson, always been concerned, always been a dream of mine to run for some type of public service sometime in my life. I do serve on the Historical District Commission appointed by previous Mayor Dobies. So I do have some board experience and, familiarity with, Robert rules, and I've also chaired a few meetings. I'm also the vice chair on that commission. Huge emphasis on the youth. I try to provide different opportunities for youth. I've helped several students obtain their insurance licenses, students who might necessarily not want to go to university or college, but need to understand that there are opportunities out there, there's skills, there's trades that they can get to become self-sufficient and earn a living. Also, youth football coach, youth basketball coach, been doing that for several years. I love pouring into the children. I love seeing them jump up and down and score touchdowns, and they also, come back and see me in the community and, oh, Coach Williams. They remember those times. So I love the youth. I love the kids. Like I said, with my business background, I do believe I can somewhat grasp the numbers and help with that aspect. Big concern with poverty and investment in impoverished communities. Those are definitely something I want to work on here if I was blessed to be appointed here. And once again, I'm just introducing myself. We can get more into it later. Thaddeus Williams. Thank you.
Hello, Commissioners. My name is Aaron Piggott. I'm throwing my hat in the ring for the District 7 Commission. I'm a veteran from Iraq in 2009. I've lived in Jackson County for my whole life. I've lived in District 7 for the last probably 5-6 years. When I came back from Iraq, I witnessed a drive-by shooting that has changed my life forever. You don't need to venture very far from here. You can see the plates that plague District 7. There's homeless sleeping everywhere. Shootings are very regular. And my plan is to focus solely on District 7 and its constituents. I want to support the police department in any way that I can, so that we can work together to make Jackson a safer place, make District 7 a safer place, and, good place for all of us to call home, not just the outlying districts. Again, my name is Aaron Piggott, and I'm running for District 7 appointment. Thank you.
Good morning to each one of y'all. My name is Kenny Price, and I'm running for the District 7 seat. I'm a first-generation Michigander and haven't been here but 20 years from Texas. I have lived in District 7 the whole time and have enjoyed the people that I meet. And I have been involved with county politics, with the Parks Board, with the Upper Grand Watershed. I've been chairman of the Conservation District, and I'm president of the Grand River Environmental Action Team for the last 12 years. I look forward to being a commissioner to trying to help the people of the 7th District. If elected or selected today, come the first warm weather, I will be talking to the businesses in District 7. I will then be talking to the people in District 7 to find out what kind of answers that I can get to see how to solve the issues in District 7. Some I can imagine, some that I know I cannot imagine that are there. But I need to talk to each person in the district to see what their issues are and what their likes and dislikes are about the county and about the area. So I would appreciate your vote vote next week for the position. Thank you.
Okay, public comments closed. There'll be another section at the end. Next up, we're moving to item 4, committee items. Need to approve the minutes from last meeting. Motion by Snell, supported by Pulaski. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, the same. Passes unanimously. Now we'll move on to 4B. This will be appointments. We have the Agricultural Preservation Board, second request here for members to reapply or apply. We have 7 positions open and we have 4 applicants right now. I would make the recommendation, if the board so wishes, to approve all 4 of the applicants, being we don't have enough. It'd be Brett Watkins, Roger Gady, Kenneth Price, and Keely Siciliano. Have applied, we still have 3 vacant positions. We have a motion and support. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, the same. Passes unanimously. We'll move on to the remonumentation peer group. This is for licensed surveyors. The new terms will expire on 2026. Current members are Ron Inger and Ron Lester, and both gentlemen have reapplied. Is there any other motion from the floor? Okay, we have a motion by Snell and support by Pulaski. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Thank you. Passes unanimously. Next up, we have the Parks Board, 2 members at large. Term expires in 2024. One in November and one in December. Currently, Mike Way and Janelle Merritt are members. They have both applied, along with Keely Siciliano, Aaron Dimmick, and Roger Gady. Do I have any? Do you second that on that, or any others from the floor?
I'll support.
Okay. We have a motion and support. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those the same. Opposed, the same. Passes unanimously. We'll move on to the Fair Board, member at large. The term will expire December of 24. Current member is Jim Vidito. Applicants are Jim Vidito and Roger Gady. Okay, we have a motion and support for Jim Vidito. Any other nominations? Okay, all in favor of Jim Vidito, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, passes unanimously. Got the Library Board next. I don't have an expiration date on the term, but current member is David Elwell. Applicants are David Elwell and Keely Siciliano. We have a motion of support on Elwell. Any other nominations? With that being said, all in favor of David Elwell?
Aye.
Those opposed, the same. Passes unanimously. Thank you, Board. That's all the appointments for this month. We move on to the Enterprise Group, LDFA reports. Welcome, Alex.
Good morning, Commissioners. Alex Maston here with the Enterprise Group on behalf of the Blackman LDFA and Parma LDFA. You can see both reports in front of you. I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
Questions, Board? Commissioner Pulaski.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Briefly about the technique.
Yes, materials, correct. Materials for the kit is a 14-month turnaround as well as price. So he still has plans to build. It's just on a standstill right now.
As to price and
Yes.
once he gets materials, he has
Yeah, yes, well, he has a couple ideas. One is to extend onto the current building he has. One is to build across the street in a brand-new building. And I think he's weighing his options right now as to what would be the best financially for him. Every month, or not every month, but every time that we meet as a board, I always make sure to call Ronnie at Technique to get an update so that the board is apprised of what he's doing. So right now, for 2022, it'll be quarterly. No, Ronnie is very big on the industrial park that will be across the road from him, JTPN, and so that is basically the relationship between him and Blackman LDFA.
Thank you. Any further questions? Thank
Not
you.
as interesting as the District 7, but thank you all
Merry
so much.
Christmas. Thank you. Next up, we have item D, IT. It's for ARPA funding approval for project number 15. Welcome, Michelle.
Good morning. So this morning, we have an updated staff report for the countywide centralized security cameras. We have included the cloud-based solution and removed the other one as it won't be an option. Excuse me. I wanted to point out also that this centralized system provides us an opportunity to administration, user passwords, user control, gives us a lot more flexibility to administer. There's a couple other customizations worth mentioning in the future if we choose to do so. There's a guest option. Over at the courthouse at D12, they use something called Wait that tells them when people are here. This VERTCA system could be added to the camera systems in the future if we would like to do that. There's also some addition alarm panel. Sorry, got a little frog in my throat. Additions to add some alarm panels and some control panels that we could increase our physical security presence in certain buildings or certain portions of the county if we choose to do so. And also, again, to mention scalable, we can add cameras moving forward. And the cloud-based solution gives us a lot more flexibility with space issues. As you know, probably with body cams for the police department, the camera footage can get really large, so the cloud-based solution is a good option for us.
Thank you. Questions? Comments? Darius?
Mr. Chair, I'm not on this committee, but I would like to ask a question. So my only question is, in the event that down the road we decide to add additional cameras or any additional equipment, would we be able to use the same system?
Correct.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Nothing further.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Any other questions, concerns? Okay, the total cost of this is $842,212?
Correct. That's for a 10-year license for that. Anything additional would be obviously additional, but that's the cost.
What's your pleasure, Board?
Move to recommend the
Thank you. Motion by Commissioner Pulaski, seconded by Commissioner Schnell. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Passes unanimously.
Have a good day. Thank you.
Merry Christmas. You too. We are on item 4E, elevator consultant and funding. Welcome, Rick.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. In front of you, you have a proposal for an elevator consultant / engineer to help us develop the specifications needed to replace our last 4 elevators that need to be replaced, modernized. Some of them are original to 1929. A couple of the others are from the mid-'60s. These folks will go through and assess the elevators. They'll decide what can be salvaged and what needs to be replaced. Then develop the bid specs for us, help us with the bidding process, review the bid specs, and then after we award the project, they will also inspect the work being done.
Questions, board? Commissioner Plesky.
If you're entertaining motions, Mr. Chair, I'll move to recommend the consultant funding to the full board, and then I have a question if I can get support. I'll support that. Thank you. And thanks, Rick, for bringing this to us. One of my continuing desires is to see our building study completed, and I do hope we don't see any more suggestions for building work under ARPA until we have seen that report. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
If I may, Mr. Chair, I'd
Go
like
ahead.
to address that. The issue with going through and doing the building assessment is it's going to take quite a bit of time to do it properly. We're going to have to go through and look at each department and do the programming. I see it being done by a committee. It's going to have all the main players involved if we're going to recommend that folks work from home. We have to have buy-in to do that. So the issue that we run into, Earl, is just that some of these projects take a while to develop, like with the elevators. It could take months, and if I remember right, we have to have this committed by 2024 to qualify for the funding. So we will, as Mike made it very clear, we're going to be working on this. I just hate to be held up, if you will.
Well, if I may.
Go ahead, Mr. Administrator.
First, I'd say we are working on this, but in regard to what Rick is referring to, most of the things that we're doing or need to do to the building really kind of need to be done regardless. The elevators and things like that. Even if we choose to sell the building, that would be value added. I would hope to recoup, that kind of thing. So we haven't forgot about it. We will be bringing it. And then to what Rick's saying, some things are time sensitive. We'll be looking at those and dealing with it. And I'm sure that's what you meant.
Great. You'll notice I'm not prepared to vote no today, but to perhaps build the urgency for what I perceive to be an important, very important aspect of our ARPA funding. So I know it's not easy, and I'm sorry to turn up the heat, but I would hate to have to face a constituent after we decided to sell a building or dispose of a building after we had put a significant amount of money into the building. So thank you for the chance to comment, Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir. Commissioner Snell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. How soon, or is this committee already in place?
We're starting to develop that.
Okay, because we've been talking about this for a while.
Duly noted.
And I certainly agree with Commissioner Plesky. I don't want to get to the point where it's time to look at projects when we've spent half the money before we get to that project. So I think I'd like to see a little more sense of urgency on that. Thank you.
Any further questions? Need a support? Okay. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, the same. Passes unanimously. Thank you, Rick.
Thank you, folks.
Next up, we have the HR department. We have a budget allocation and a salary increase to look at. Welcome, Mike.
Thank you. Good morning, Commissioners. Today, I have a proposal for a budget allocation change and salary increase for Dr. Mano, Chief Medical Examiner for the county. I look to get this committee to send to the full board for approval for the budget allocation for, starting January 3rd, 2022 for this. Dr. Mano has been employed by Jackson County since 1987. During that period and during his tenure, he has never received a salary or a compensation increase. Jackson County does not employ a deputy medical examiner, and Dr. Mano is the only person that's responsible 24/7, 365 to be on call for any deaths within the county. So once again, a very large role, huge responsibilities. Currently, Dr. Mano receives $13,648 in salary, and additionally $50 per death certificate. And that is an additional cost to the county of $14,600. The total that he received in 2020 was a total of $28,248 in total compensation. We're looking to increase that to a total of $55,000, and that would be in association with the benchmarking analysis for salary that we developed, and that's in front of you. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Questions, Board? Commissioner Pulaski.
Mr. Chair, if you're prepared to take a motion, I will make one, and then I have a question.
Go ahead.
Move the adoption of the administration's recommendation.
I'll support that. We have a motion and support. Go ahead.
And so with this salary, so that there wouldn't be the death certificate, a stipend, whatever, it would simply be, that would be the salary and that's it?
That is correct. The $50 stipend would go away.
Okay. And I suppose I would observe, Mr. Chair, that this is not only for our existing medical examiner, but in the future, there'll be another medical examiner. It would be a little easier to recruit one, I suppose, if we were to have a salary that was competitive. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Williams? Okay.
I'm just going to make one quick comment. Dr. Mano has served, obviously, for many, many years. What has changed is he's recently retired from the hospital, and therefore he's focusing more of his time, into the medical examiner's role. And this is long overdue and warranted. He has served us for many years for, frankly, almost free, the truth be told. So, well deserved.
Commissioner Bear?
Could you restate the motion for me?
The motion, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
The other motion.
Go ahead.
We're looking to get a motion to the full board to approve of allocation and salary increase for the county's chief medical examiner effective January 3rd, 2022.
Okay, that's not what I heard Commissioner Pulaski say. The motion that he just stated, I like, because it actually states a dollar amount, actually states a time, actually indicates a person. So the motion he just stated, when I read it in the minutes, I can clearly understand the entire situation. So I prefer the way it was just stated for my preference. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Pulaski, would you please restate your...
I recall my motion being to adopt the administration's recommendation, which I believe states, let me see what we have here, is to, the recommendation. The Director of Human Resources and Labor Relations and the County Administrator Controller recommend the Board of Commissioners approve a $26,752 budget allocation increase to the annual salary effective January 3rd, 2022, and the annual salary would increase to $55,000 annually, and would include a compensation for death certification reviews. In other words, they don't get the $50 per item stipend that he's been getting all along. That was my motion, Mr. Chair. I hope that is satisfactory. Thank you.
Anything else, Tony?
if the minutes read as Commissioner Pulaski just stated, I will be happy with it. Thank you.
They are duly recorded in the minutes right now. Okay, we had a motion and support. Any further questions before we vote? All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, the same. Passes unanimously.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, we are on item G, Finance. Welcome, Cecilia.
Good morning. In front of you, I do have the final budget recommendation for amendments for 2021. And just if there was any questions on them at all, I'd be happy to answer any questions or clarification.
Questions, board? No further questions there.
Okay.
That.
All right.
Oh, Earl's got your hand up?
I'm not done.
My hand is kind of up, Mr. Chair. I just want to make sure I understand what I'm seeing with respect to the fair at the bottom of the first
Okay,
page.
I'll be happy to explain that.
We're transferring.
Yeah, so let me explain the fair fund. Yep, no problem. So, I don't know, 3-4 years ago, the fair fund actually, their fund balance went negative. So they do not have actually a fund balance. It is negative. And so what we do at the end of the year is that we transfer money from our delinquent tax fund in order to make the fund whole, and then we reverse it at the beginning of the year. So this is what these budget amendments are doing. Let's see if I can find it. So basically, so we're expecting this revenue. I'm sorry, let me get to where I need to be. So we have a planned fund balance transfer. We already have an expected loss that we would be transferring over into the fair fund. And then we also are taking care of what we transferred back out from last year. So it's just cleaning it up a little bit, but I do need to adjust for the amount that we'll be transferring over from delinquent tax and reversing back out in '22. It's just so we don't close with a negative fund balance. We're kind of borrowing money at the end of the year. And the intention is for the fair fund over the next couple of years to build back up their fund balance.
I'm not very smart about these things, Mr. Chair, so if I might ask another question, I'm not sure I understand. Yes, okay, thank you. For those of us who are laymen,
okay,
we need to put $350,000 more into the fair because it has a negative fund balance. Is that correct?
Right.
Okay. Because it hasn't made money, or it's lost money,
It's
or
lost money
it's
over
lost
the past
money.
couple of years, yeah.
Okay. I think I understand that.
Yeah, and then we'll
better.
just transfer it back in January. We'll give it back to the delinquent tax fund. It doesn't stay there. It's just so we can close.
I just suppose the overarching question is, how are we going to eventually come to a point where the fair kind of carries its own weight?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we have talked to the director, and they are aware of it, and the administration has made expectations, but unfortunately, we had COVID in 2020, you know what I mean? And so, and then just different things happened in '21 with the COVID again. So the expectation is that they will be back and be self-sustaining.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, I have a question. If we put it in, and then we turn around and take it back out, are we just playing games with the intent of the state regulations?
Well, we're borrowing money from delinquent tax fund, we can do that, and then we just reverse it back out. The intention's not to keep it, we're not gonna keep delinquent tax, but that's what we cannot close with a negative fund balance either. We've been doing that for the past couple of years.
I'm glad I'm not holding the note. Tony?
Good morning. Can you tell me the source of the funds? Where will the money be taken out of to add into the general fund, $104,500?
Yeah, and the revenue, so on the revenue, so it's page 1 revenue at the bottom. We have ballot print reimbursement of $16,000. We have $8,000 for gun permits. We have $20,500 for cremation fees, $40,000 for indirect reimbursement and state grants for $20,000. Those are the revenues covering those general fund costs.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, no more questions on the amendments? We're good there?
Okay.
I thought we were moving on to, well, I don't think so.
Mr. Chair.
Okay, we have motion and support. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, the same. Passes unanimously. Thank you.
Okay. Then I have my financial statements.
I was waiting for your finance report next for the
Okay.
month.
All right, so we have our October financial statements before you. And again, our revenues are right where we're expecting them to be. We're really good with our revenues at October, and our expenses are below our benchmark. So our financial statements as of October 2021 are good. We don't have any problems or concerns with our revenues or expenses. Any questions?
No, ma'am. We're good.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Next up is Parks. Welcome, Kyle.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Well, the first item I have is the purchase of a maintenance truck for 2022. So this is an item that we had in our capital budget for next year. We did use the My Deal program, so this is the best possible price. I did check that with 2 local dealerships just to make sure that we were getting the best possible price, and unfortunately they couldn't come near that price. The good news is it's a good price. So this is to replace an existing truck that's just beyond its useful life. This was approved at the Park Board last week with a question on one item, the quote that I did get clarified. So they did approve it up to the amount that we're requesting. But there was an item on here that says credit adjustment for $1,254. So I did get that clarified. Basically, the spec price at the top for $29,496, that's the base price. But then if we do any kind of modifications, that credit adjustment, basically that's the handling fee. So we added a few accessories that increases the price basically. But still the best possible price, and we're seeking approval today.
Okay, any questions, board? You need a motion and support then? Motion by Walls, support by Snell. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Okay, all right. Voted, right?
Yes.
Okay, motion passed unanimously. You get your truck. We'll go to next item, J for Parks.
Okay, this is something that was last discussed here at the board in the spring of 2020. So this is another request from the Michigan DNR and the U.S. Fish and Wildlife to remove and test deer from Cascades Golf Course for chronic wasting disease, which is something that they've found throughout the state, but Jackson County is a high priority area basically for testing, specifically southern Jackson County. So the golf course is a large population. It's very overpopulated actually, and it's within 5-mile radius of where they found CWD in the past. So that's why they find this area attractive for removal and testing of deer. You all did approve this in 2020, and they came out and they removed and tested 18 deer at that time. So not as many as they would have liked. It was they came later that year. It was in the spring, so it was kind of beyond the season where they could get more. But basically, we've got another request from the DNR to come and take and test deer for the golf course.
Discussion. Motion and support.
Move to adopt the administration recommendation, Mr. Chair.
We have a motion by Commissioner Pulaski, support by Commissioner Snell. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, it passes unanimously. Thank you. One more item for the parks.
All right. Yeah, thank you. This is a request to reclassify one of our positions, our Event Center Cascades Manager position, essentially delegate some duties that I've carried forward with my recent promotion from Deputy Parks Director to Parks Director. There's still some items that I've continued to do. Essentially, mainly the large item is oversight of our campgrounds, which includes 8 to 10 seasonal employees and just the overall day-to-day operations there. So rather than fill the vacant Deputy Parks Director position, I'm recommending that we just add to the Cascades Event Center Manager position, which I think makes sense. This would oversee all 3 of our large revenue-generating facilities, basically. I worked with our Human Resources Director to check on what grade this would do, so this would increase it from a K to an L in the pay scale. But by not filling the Deputy Parks Director, it is a net savings of about $60,000. And I would be working with the Human Resources Director to modify that job description.
Thank you. Question, do we have questions? Go ahead.
So, you're fully confident you can do this without an assistant parks director? Because what I don't want to get into is we go ahead and do this, and 5 months down the road, we go ahead and hire an assistant, and then there's no net savings at all.
Sure.
So I want to make sure you're confident that this is all that you're going to need. You're not going to come back in the near future.
Yeah, I mean, I would never say never, but I think I'm fully confident where we're at right now. We've been operating this way for 2.5 years essentially, and I think it's working out fine in this position. The event center is a little slower in the summertime, not slow. There's still things to do, but to add this mainly in the summertime months, I think it'll be fine.
Further questions? Commissioner Snell?
So as I read this doesn't eliminate the Deputy Parks Director? Or should it? If we're not going to fill it?
The way I read it, we're eliminating a position, correct?
Well, I didn't recommend to eliminate it. I mean, I think that's kind of what you're both alluding to.
Where are we saving the $60,000 then?
We're not filling a vacant position, but if I ever wanted to fill it, I would certainly need to come back here, but I don't anticipate that.
Okay, you're just not filling it. Okay. Your thoughts?
Well, if the duties are such that they can be assigned to somebody else for $5,719, why would we keep an open position of $70,000?
It's going to be an empty position, vacant, correct?
Right.
I guess just for ease of future changes, possibly. Want to just eliminate it? I'm open to suggestion. Oh, I didn't. Okay, go ahead, Steve.
My recommendation would be to concur with the recommendation for the position and then make a separate motion to direct the Administrator Controller's Office to return with an analysis of the position to come back if it's something that needs to be eliminated.
Well, I like that so much, I'll make that as a motion.
I'll support.
Would you repeat your motion, Commissioner Snell? Okay, we know the motion. Do I have a...
What's going on the parks? And then follow me? Not a problem, I'm just making life easy. Steve verbalized the motion, Mr. Chair, and I would be happy to verbalize again if that's what you would like, sir. Are you ready, Sierra? Okay. What I verbalized was to concur with the recommendation of the Parks Department and forward it to the full board. And the second part of that motion is to ask the Administrator Controller's Office to return with an analysis of whether we should remove the Deputy Parks Director's position. Or delete, however the phraseology should be.
Okay, we're having too much fun. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Passes unanimously.
Great, thank you.
Like saving 60 grand. Took so much time I lost my meeting here. Okay, we're on item L. This will be the interviews of the District 7 Commissioner appointments. We are in an effort to be as fair as possible. Clerk here will be drawing names randomly. So one person, you get your turn in no particular order other than what she draws. What is the name you've drawn first? Kenneth Price. You're the guinea pig. Okay, I will be asking, we have 10 minutes per candidate. I will be asking questions. If needed, the commissioners will be asking possibly an additional question. They didn't understand your answer, or they have another question that kind of pigtails onto your answer. And all commissioners here will be taken, or be given opportunity to question, won't they? Okay, yeah.
Mr. Duncombe, for my benefit and maybe people behind me, can you restate what you said and maybe a little bit louder?
Yes, we need mics. Okay, you get 10 minutes. We'll give 10 minutes for you to introduce yourself, tell us who you are. If you've already done that, make it shorter because everybody came up under public comment. If there's more you need to say, please say it. Yeah, got a list of 8 questions here that will be given to each applicant to answer. So.
He's going to ask you 8 questions. You've introduced yourself.
Yeah, I don't think I need to do that again.
And then the commissioners, we have each here, we're going to write your responses on and all, and we'll select the person next Tuesday night.
All right, sir.
You're Kenny Price. You told us who you were.
I'm
Still guy. You're still the guy.
I'm Kenny Price. I live in Jackson County. I live on Bates Street in the 7th District. I'm running for the position of the District 7 opening. I would like to be the commissioner and would think I can do a good job. I've been involved in county politics and in other organizations in Jackson County and have a great knowledge of all of that.
That pretty much answers the first question. The first question was going to be, why do you wish to be county commissioner?
I've been involved in county politics. I'm on several county boards right now. I enjoy being in the county. I enjoy knowing what's going on in the county and would like a say into how things are done. Not to say that y'all haven't been doing fantastically yourself, but I would like to be able to have a say in what's going on and having a greater knowledge of what happens in the county.
Thank you. Okay, second question. In your vision, what is the primary function of a county commissioner?
In my vision, the county commissioner should be an overseer of everything in the county. He should know what's going on, not to minute detail of what's going on in the sheriff's department, what's going on in the water department, watershed, what's going on in the treasurer's department, but he should have a knowledge of what's going on in each department. He should have knowledge of who the leaders are of each department, Department of Aging, Department of everything else. He should know some of the people that work in that department and have knowledge of what they do, but he should be an overseer. He is not a person to make decisions for the Department of Aging. He may be able to suggest an item on a one-by-one basis, but basically all things what he does is done in this room and with motions and with legalities to run things.
Thank you, sir. What are in your mind, what are the largest issues facing Jackson County?
One more time, sir.
Largest issue facing Jackson County as you see it?
The budget is always the biggest thing that happens in this county. Mr. Overton, as his manager, he sees over the budget. We have to work within the budget to do everything, as we were talking about a while ago. The budget, money is always the thing. We have to have money to do everything that we can. We can't just volunteer to do something without knowing how much money we can spend on it.
Okay. How do you feel your life experiences have prepared you to address these issues that we may face?
From an early age in high school, I was involved in high school politics. I was involved in college, and I was in the Coast Guard, so I saw things that go on. Since I've been out of the Coast Guard back home, I was with the union, both as a worker and as a representative to management. I then joined the company and became the overseer of the unions and the management. I've been on several boards up here that go with all of the aspects of the county, the parks, the watershed, trying to get the Grand River clean and usable, being on the Department of Health Services, Department of the Medical Care Facility. Everything that people do in this area, I've been involved in, a majority of them. And so that's what I think.
Thank you. If we're faced with a budget shortfall, would your preference be to cut programs or increase taxes to balance the budget?
If it has to be done that way, it has to be done that way. If every item has been sought and looked at before that statement was made and you had to do it, then that's what has to be done.
So would you rather cut a program or increase the taxes?
Depending on what the program is, you could be cut, and not trying to foresee any different program, but there's possibilities that some programs may not be needed, that could be cut to save taxes for everybody else. Taxes on everybody else are harder than programs in a lot of cases.
Okay, thank you. Do you support our sheriff department, county jail, and the court system? And what are the biggest challenges each face?
All three of them face the ideal that people wish to do crimes at times, people do wrong at times. Whether they are meaning to or not, things happen in this world. And so there has to be a sheriff's department to oversee and keep the public safe. There has to be good agents in that department, and I think the majority of our deputies are good people. Police are good people. There's always a certain bad person that's in there, and they have to be seen and done away with. But the majority are doing good. The same thing is true with the courts and everywhere else. There's always a possibility of somebody not doing their job correctly and sufficiently enough to protect each individual. So those have to be looked at and gotten away from. But each one has to be supported. Each one is needed in our society. We run on a rule of law in this country, and we have to have the rule of law to stay a country.
Thank you. Do you believe government should require and/or require mask or vaccine mandates?
I do not agree with mandates for vaccines or for masks, period.
Thank you. If appointed to this position, it's a one-year term with election coming up for next year. Do you intend to run for re-election for the 7th District?
I intend, if I get the position, to try to run for the office for the next term, the next 2 terms. I will be looking for the smartness of each one of you commissioners who have done the campaigning and have worked with the funds and stuff, and will get your ideas of how to do so. But I will commit and will promise that I will run for the position the next term, 2022, if selected.
Okay, that's the end of our questions. Anything you'd like to add that maybe you think would enhance your position? It's okay if you don't. We've asked a lot of questions here.
I promise to tell only better jokes if I get on. Maybe not the same good jokes that I tell now. I'll increase the betterness of them.
And that's a promise.
I think if I am selected, I will do a good job. I think I can work with each one of y'all and get this county going. Thank y'all.
Good luck. Aaron Pickett?
Hello.
Good morning. They will be doing the same questions.
Okay.
Why do you wish to be a county commissioner?
Because there is a need in Jackson County, and that need is the people. The people deserve better. They deserve better in District 7. I went to war and I came back and I got shot at home. That's a problem. And, this, like I said, in my statement earlier, the crime, the shootings, the gang violence, and certainly the homeless people, you can drive around and see it. It's clear as day. It's a problem for Jackson, and I need to do something about it.
Okay. What do you see as a primary function in your mind of a county commissioner?
The county commissioner has been on display today, approves the budgets. You have to have a balanced budget. And you approve motions when the various departments come and request something, and you make that fit into the budget.
Thank you. What are the largest issues facing the county?
Homelessness and crime.
Okay. How has your life experience prepared you to address these issues?
I've been managers at businesses in Jackson. I was a manager at Anesthesia Business Consultants for many years. I ran a team of soldiers in Iraq. I was with the Army Corps of Engineers, and we were responsible for when the Army blows something up, they rebuild it. And that's what we did. We went in there, and I ran a team of plumbers that went in and outfitted a building. And we did, security for security. We planted drop gates, and I ran that team. I have a lot of team leader experience, and I think that'll benefit me in this position.
Okay, we have a budget shortfall in the county. As an example, would you rather cut programs or raise taxes? Balance the budget.
I would absolutely rather cut programs.
Okay. Do you support Jackson County Sheriff Department, Jackson County Jail, and the Jackson County court systems? And what do you see as the biggest challenges they face?
As I've previously stated, the homelessness, and the gang crime and gun violence is one of their biggest problems. And absolutely, I support them full-heartedly. They need our support.
Thank you. Do you believe that government should be requiring face masks or vaccine mandates?
We live in a free country, and it should be everybody's option to get a vaccination or not, or wear a mask or not.
Okay. If you are appointed this position, do you intend to continue to run for the next
Absolutely.
2-year term or 4-year term, whichever it may be?
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
We'll be deciding next Tuesday.
What was that?
We'll be deciding.
By supporting the police department, supporting the justice system, and I'm not completely closed off to a big push in politics right now is to put social workers in with the police departments. I think that maybe a better, option would be for police to have that social work training. So, I'm not closed off to that idea, but I would certainly like to see more data on it for places that have already done it. That would be something that could be done to help minority communities.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next Tuesday night then.
Hello? Good morning.
Why do you wish to be a county commissioner?
I believe that District 7 has been neglected for too long without representation. We have a lot of different issues than the other districts, and I believe that it's time for our citizens to have a voice in their community.
Okay. What is the primary function as a county commissioner in your mind?
They're responsible for overseeing the county's management and administration, representing the county's interests at the state level and participating in long-range planning and managing the current budget and finance.
How has your previous life experience prepared you to address those issues?
At the age of 9, I was called by my family to serve. I've been given my grandmother's wedding ring. Her birthday was yesterday, Mrs. Cleo May Dungy. My grandparents, my maternal grandparents, were huge educators in our community. And I just served all of my life. At the age of 9, I took care of my great-grandmother and went over every Saturday to clean her home. And my boys have been a caretaker. I am the Chief Executive Director of a trusted, community-based 501c3 nonprofit organization. And right now, we are one of the biggest mobile food pantries here in Jackson, Michigan. We serve over 200 families every third Tuesday of every month. When COVID-19 hit, our organization was a boots on the ground. We connect with the community. We know a lot of our community members do not have transportation, so we hand-delivered more than 1,200 personal care items to individuals in need, including food, toilet paper, cleaning supplies, and we also offer free case management services. Right now, we're partnering with Harry Wilson, and we plan on providing people with showers and help them with employment training and things of that nature.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
If we're facing a budget shortfall, would your preference be to cut a program or to raise the taxes to balance our budget?
Like I said initially, District 7 has a lot of different issues than the other districts. It just really depends on the situation and what programs are being cut. So it would probably be best to raise the taxes if necessary. There was a program at the Jackson County Health Department, a car seat program, and that program is no longer available to our community. And a lot of mothers need that program to make sure that their children can ride safely in the cars when they're going places.
In your mind, what are the largest issues facing Jackson County?
Right now, poverty, gun violence, and homelessness. Our organization is registered with 211. I get a lot of phone calls every day, all day long. Housing is a serious issue, especially for the mentally challenged. They really don't have a lot of support, and also the elderly. We need more assistance for that community.
Okay, what was your first item you said was?
Homelessness.
Policy, did you say?
Poverty, I'm sorry. Poverty. A lot of poverty is in District 7 right now. A lot of people are hungry, don't have food, don't have transportation, and it really needs to be addressed.
Okay. Do you support the Sheriff Department, County Jail, and the court systems?
Yes, I do.
Challenges they face.
I do support all three, and right now, I think the return of citizens, especially during COVID, sometimes freedom could be a scary thing, so I think if we can work closely with those citizens. And also, I would like to bring a GED program back into the Jackson County jails. I think that would be a great resource to help them turn their negatives into positives while they're doing time.
Do you support government mandates on wearing a face mask or vaccinations?
No, I do not.
If appointed for this District 7 Commissioner position, do you intend to run after your year is up, to run for another term?
Yes, I'm already on the campaign trail. I've been on the campaign trail since April. And one thing I would like to know, I'm kind of nervous when I speak for the first time, so I apologize. But I'm a great leader, and I think that I am the perfect leader for this generation. I ran my own campaign. I didn't have any experience, but I thought that it was time to stand up and run so our community can see that there's nothing that we can't do. So I did run a successful campaign. I lost by a hair, and some of my voters are here today that support me. And like I said, even a Republican brought my signs for me. So I have support on both sides, and a lot of the community members asked me to step in and step up and run and apply for this seat.
Okay, we'll be making the selection next Tuesday night. Thank you for your interest. Thank you for your answers.
Thank you.
Follow-up question to two of your questions. My first question is, very briefly, you mentioned that the 7th District has been neglected. Could you explain what that means?
Well, we have the highest poverty level. We have the most crime. We have limited resources. And the children are suffering. You know, I would like to see, I think broadband would be a game changer. If we can get that service free in those low-income communities or where the poverty is very extreme, that would be a game changer. A lot of our children are behind in their education, especially during COVID made it worse. So I feel, and a lot of others feel the same way, that we have been neglected. We haven't had representation.
Okay.
Hands-on. You know, we need to see our leaders in our community.
Okay. My final question, you mentioned that you would be willing to raise taxes. Are you familiar with how that process works?
I said I will, it just depends on the situation. If we need to raise taxes, we need to raise taxes. If we need to cut programs, we need to cut programs. Whatever is the best outcome for our community.
So to better understand, and I don't want to take too much time, Mr. Chair, I apologize, but just to best understand your answer here, the question is asking, you're presented with two options, to either cut taxes, to either cut programs or to raise taxes. We can't quite fall in the middle of that. So when it comes time to vote, you have to decide on which one or the other. So we're asking, I guess, that same
I don't know
question
what
today.
I need to be deciding on, what programs or taxes I need to be.
So you're saying it depends on the program, whether we, so you're saying it depends on the program
Yes.
that we're trying to fix the financial issue with?
That's correct.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair, nothing further.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll see you next Tuesday, and we'll have a decision.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Next would be Tashia Carter. Hope I said that right.
It's Tasha Carter. Yep.
Thank you. First up, thank you for your interest. Why do you wish to be a county commissioner?
I mentioned earlier that in the past I have never really wanted to be sitting on your side. I've been the person to challenge you all or push the levers for you to make the best decisions for the constituents. However, with the onset of COVID in the last year and a half, I've witnessed a lot. I've had the opportunity to sit on various committees, special groups that were combined to address COVID issues, emergent issues, urgent issues, and the decision-making from the powers that be, that a lot of those people were people who sat on regular boards and made decisions for businesses, for nonprofits, for organizations and agencies. I found that the policies and the processes a lot of them were inequitable. There was a lot of personal bias that came in, and I just think in general, and this was a realization for me, that people who look like me, people who have historically been faced with inequity, they need to be at the table. They need to be able to influence the decisions that you make. They need to be there to help you understand their lived experience. Right now on the board, there's no estrogen. There's no women. So I think that I offer the perspective of a female living in the county, in the city, also black. So you'll get that minority perspective. I consider myself an equity warrior, so I do focus on equity in anything that I can do to help the hardest to reach populations. They need help. Jackson is only as good as its weakest link. And so until we bring those weak links up, we won't be stronger. So in short, we need people like me, who look like me, who have had my experiences living in the city and the county. I have a diverse portfolio professionally, so bringing that to the table as well. I've worked in fast food, I've worked as a photographer, I've worked as an entrepreneur, I've worked for the health system in various capacities from the bottom up. What's that term? My kids say it was a song. Work from the bottom, now I'm here. That's me. So I have a lot of perspective that I don't feel that is currently represented, and I'm also open to learning. This will be a learning curve for me. I'm not standing here saying that I'm going to be an expert at anything, but I'm a sponge, and so I'm willing to learn, and my passion and my goal is to help the community.
You know what the primary function of a county commissioner is?
Okay, so I read the mission statement, and the mission statement is to provide quality services to the public. I don't think it's just a budgetary approval or non-approval. I think the person needs to be relatable and personable and able to put themselves in other people's shoes so that they can make informed decisions on whatever the decisions are, whether it is to cut or to increase taxes or just to provide or to be able to glean the perspectives and the feedback from the community. They need to be feet on the street, boots on the ground, helping people, being that public face, that public figure, and then also have the ability to problem solve and review data and forecast. So it's not just a budget issue of approving and not approving. It's really an overarching ability to relate to others.
Okay, what do you view as the largest issues facing Jackson County?
I have a whole list.
Give me two.
Yeah, poverty, gun violence, homelessness, mental health issues, the lack of equity in policy making, not having representation, true representation from the people, the constituents that we serve.
You are aware that you could have run last election?
Could I have run?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Why didn't you?
Because, like I said, I've never wanted to be on this side until really last year when I found that I think COVID for everybody, there was a realization that it exacerbated conditions that were already here. And after sitting elbow to elbow with CEOs and executives and the nonprofit servicing sector folks and sitting there listening and understanding how they were making decisions, it like hit me in the heart, like, oh my gosh, they don't have anyone at the table to say, hey, wait a minute, let's talk about this more, or, you know, what about this? You don't know what you don't know. If you don't have the life experience, you can't apply that learning to the decision making.
Okay. When facing a budget shortfall, would your preference be to cut programs or increase taxes to bring the budget back into balance?
I think that there's not a cut and dry or black and white answer to that. I think it depends on the program. It depends on the other factors. I think as long as you've done your due diligence to try not to increase taxes, then the end result may be to increase taxes. But I think my first thought process is not to cut. But again, you have to do your due diligence depending on what the issue is, what the program is, how it's going to impact. I'm a data person, so I'm going to be asking questions about data, like what are the numbers and what are different things, what are different ways that we can look at it to determine what all of our options or what the alternatives are to either or.
Do you support the sheriff department, the county jail, and the court systems?
So that's a tricky question for me. I'm going to say that in general, I totally support the sheriff office or any law enforcement and judicial policies. But what I also know is, and I think a lot of this has to do with me being black, in Jackson County, there are issues. And I'm not going to sit up here and say that everything is easy peasy and peachy, because it isn't. I think there's some learning, whether it's understanding that there's personal bias. I'm a law-abiding citizen, and I have issues that I've had with law enforcement for really no reason. I have a black son who was pulled over 7 times in one summer. No police report. And I mean, I have had issues with law enforcement. When I say issues, I'm meaning like racial profiling. So I know that there are issues, but in general, yes, I do support law enforcement. I do also think from a judicial perspective, if you look at our numbers, you know that young black men they receive higher sentences than white men who have similar crimes. So I will say that, again, in general, yes, but there are many opportunities for improvement.
Thank you. Do you believe government should require mandatory masking and vaccinations?
So I have a split response on that as well. Being someone who's my whole family actually, but me and my daughter specifically had very, very bad cases of COVID. And I was out of work for over a month, and I am still dealing with residual effects as a result. And so for masking, I view that like smoking. I think that we have laws in place for smoking where that's like invasive. COVID is spread through the air, and so I support mask. As far as the vaccine, I think that people should be provided accurate information so that they can make their own informed decisions. So I don't necessarily agree with mandating vaccines, but masks, I do.
Okay. If you are appointed, do you intend to run for re-election or for another term?
I do. You know what? I feel like that's kind of premature to answer yes, because I don't know what I'm getting into. I think that I think I have, 4 months to make a decision. It will give me the opportunity to learn you and you learn me, and me to become more knowledgeable about county government and understand better. You know, there's another term that my kids say, get in where you fit in. So I want to maneuver the best that I can and use this as a learning experience, and I think yes, but I don't want to commit to yes without having this. I think we're all in a unique position right now to kind of fill things out during the appointment.
Thank you. That's the end of the questions. We will be deciding next Tuesday night.
Okay.
No, next Tuesday night, we're meeting at 5. Okay. Yes, next Tuesday, for everybody, all the applicants, our normal meetings are 7, we're meeting at 5 because of the Christmas season. So, okay, Corey.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. You spoke a lot about inequity today, so I feel only fair that I should come with a follow-up question. I represent a real unique area of Jackson County, that being currently Vandercook Lake, East Jackson, and Michigan Center. And they have their own struggles. Coach youth athletics, I saw it firsthand. So my first question would be, do you believe that white people can experience inequity?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep, absolutely.
And my second follow-up question is, when it comes to financial equity, do you believe that should be earned or given?
I've never had that question before. I think that inequity is across the board. I think that when you talk about equity, for the most part, it's not necessarily taking away from someone who, so let me give you an example of equity. So I'll give you 2 examples. So you have you're talking about food. You might have an elderly person who doesn't have teeth, and have a baby who doesn't have teeth, and the digestive system isn't mature enough to eat a steak. You might have a bodybuilder who does eat steak. So if you gave steak to all of those people, that would be inequitable, because that baby can't eat the steak, the elderly person can't eat that steak, but the bodybuilder can. So giving that steak to the bodybuilder doesn't take away or making accommodations to give formula to that baby, or to give soft foods to the elderly person doesn't take away from the bodybuilder. So I think you have to take that into consideration. Equity is giving people what they need. Another example would be school. You have a single parent, a child from a single parent home. That mom hasn't graduated from school and she works all the time, so she doesn't have the skill to help the child with his homework, and she's not around to help as much because she's at work all the time. Then you have a child who has 2 parents, mom and dad at home, and maybe dad works and mom stays home, and they're both educated enough to help. Building a program to help that child from the single parent home isn't taken away from that child from the 2-parent home. So I think you have to, they have what they need to be successful. For that child in that single parent home, you are providing the resources for them to be successful. And I think a lot of times people think that, just because you're helping someone, you're taking away from another group, and that's quite often not the case.
I thank you for your explanation, because equity can mean a lot of things to a lot of different people.
Mm-hmm.
And I thank you for explaining what it means to you.
Okay,
all right.
Thanks.
We'll meet next Tuesday at 5 o'clock.
Okay.
That's all the questions we have right now.
Thank you. Can I just say one more thing? I want to thank the people who gave me support, me and my kids. Thank you. And then I just want to hone in on a couple more skills that I have. I said that my professional portfolio was very diverse. I have HR experience, specifically in the insurance sector. So anytime we talk about benefits, I think I can offer assistance in that regard. Also, very familiar with data analysis. The infographics that you guys had from the Jackson Collaborative Network, I was instrumental in that process in collecting that information and trending it, compiling it, trending it, and putting it in presentable formats for the public. So just wanted to share some of those other skills. Thank you.
Jeremy Alexander.
Thank you.
First of all, thank you for applying.
Yes.
Why do you wish to be a county commissioner?
To serve the people. That's something I've found over the last 4 years. It's a joy that I can hardly even express, to simply to get to know people and understand what they want with their government, and to use that experience of having talked to them to represent them on a board, to serve the people. I think it's absolutely a wonderful experience that I've had the last 4 years, and to be able to continue that here on the county level, I think is going to be a great opportunity for myself.
Thank you. What do you see as a primary function of a county commissioner?
I like to think about things as communication. I think a representative here, you've got 9 people that are going to make decisions for our entire county, and I would hope that each 9 of you go back and have lots of conversations with thousands and thousands of other people, or your constituents that have an opinion, your constituents that have an idea, your constituents that want to know what time the next meeting is. I found I get a lot of phone calls over the last 4 years, and it's something that I've truly enjoyed. Not just from my own constituents, but somehow 4 years ago when I first was elected to the city, somebody, one of my colleagues, I'm guessing, decided to put my cell phone number in the phone book as the City of Jackson. So I get a lot of phone calls just from people that want to talk to the City of Jackson. So I've really enjoyed it, and I found, is this a common thing that people do? There you go. I'm the City of Jackson at the moment, depending on the phone book that you order. But it's something that I found I really enjoy talking to people. I truly enjoy talking to people. When I was out on the campaign, or each of the times that I've been out on the campaign, simply to knock on somebody's door and to say hello. My name's Jeremy. Tell them who you are, where you're from. And really, it's just an invitation for you don't know what you're going to get next. But generally speaking, you got a lot of people that have a lot of opinions, and they have not been listened to. And that's one of the things that I find, that you have somebody that's, whether they're irritable, they're upset, they seem like they have a lot to say, listen. Grab a cup of coffee, sit down, listen. I love the question that you just asked Mr. Kennedy. What does your statement mean to you? I love that question. Years ago, I used to work for my church for a good long time, and so I evangelized quite a bit. And that was I learned that skill there. Somebody says, "I'm a Baptist." Oh, what does that mean to you? And I found that skill set, even though I learned it in the church, worked wonderfully in politics, because somebody stands up and says, "Oh, great." What does that mean to you? Or somebody says they're for this or against that. Wonderful. What does that mean to you? I like conversations, and I think that really when we look at our county government is a conversation. It is 9 people having a conversation that hopefully will represent the 165,000, I believe, that are in the county. It's those conversations that begin in our homes that stretch out onto the campaign trails that end here in this room. It is the conversations that begin at our dinner table that end here with the decisions of how to run our government.
What are the largest issues in Jackson County as you see them?
I can more answer what are the largest issues in the city of Jackson. I've got a lot more experience in the city, and my district resides entirely in the city. So I've got to go ahead and put that in there, because a lot of the things that we've already heard today, poverty, homelessness, crime, gun violence, these are issues that are in the city that are severe. However, anyone that sits in District 7 seat has to realize that District 7 is only one portion of Jackson County. And the issues that do address District 7, and I know very well the issues in District 7 as well as District 8, the issues that affect the city do not necessarily affect the county. So in that, I have to bifurcate myself, because I cannot come here and try to represent what are the worst issues in the city, because that's not the conversation that we're having. This is a conversation for the county, so we have to look at what are the issues with the county. What issues do we have with the county? Budgets. We've looked at roads. The county has looked at roads, obviously helping the townships, but looking at the county, I see a budgetary problem. When we talk about resources, we are in a situation of limited resources. If we create a program that gives X resource to this program, that demands that we did not give that resource to a different program. So it is very important that we actually take a lot of time and recognize what programs do occur at the county level, because there are choices being made. We choose to support one program, we are choosing not to support the next. We do live in an age with a limited budget, so we have to go ahead and realize that affects almost every single thing that we do. As far as District District 7, it is going to be imperative, I think, for somebody that sits in that role to recognize that even though we see many issues in the city, the place for city governance is across the street. This is the county room, so I think it's important that we go ahead and District 7 recognizes its role within the county and the county issues.
Okay, in your life experiences you've incurred so far, what ones have prepared you for these issues?
You know, I don't come with, I don't know what resume would be wonderful for a politician, if that's what you choose to call me. I'm just a normal guy from Jackson. I don't even have a stellar education. I'm just a high school guy. Educated, took some classes at JC. I think, honestly, my biggest thing is that I like to talk. Phil, I'll sit here and talk to you all day. I'll talk to anyone in the county all day. As much as I like to, what's that?
You get 10 minutes.
10 minutes. I know, it's a challenge for me. But it is that talking, it is that conversation, it is what I heard on this side of the room at this county meeting and what I heard from a solution over there. It is those conversations that allow us to solve it. And if conversation is a skill, I'm gifted. I can talk to almost anyone, almost any time, any place, the young, the old. I can find something in common and we talk. And it's something that I truly enjoy, getting to know other people.
Talk to me now about budget shortfall. Would you rather cut programs or increase the taxes?
First, I look for efficiency. I'm an efficiency guy. What can we do to expend less money? Maybe, can this program, can we save it 20% on the expense? And maybe we can make room for 2 programs, who knows? So efficiency first. Second, the program's got to go. As said as it is, we have a limited budget, and we're always going to be making choices with that limited budget. Do we want to support this program or that program? We have X dollars, we have to make those choices. Yes, every single program that this county has ever done has probably been a good one, and everyone had some value. However, we have to decide which programs have the most value for our constituents, and that's simply the job that has to be done.
Okay, do you support the sheriff's department, county jail, and the county court system?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Biggest challenges?
I think perception. My gosh, you look at the last 2 or 3 years, it would be a hard period of time to be, whether a city police officer, a county sheriff, a sheriff's deputy, to be in law enforcement. I think we need to support our officers. We need to support, and that extends not just to, my feelings about officers, but officers, first responders, and our military. Anything that we can do to support them. Support them, even if it is just a thank you for their service, or passing whatever budget item is going to be to make sure they get the training and the tools that they need.
Okay. Do you support government requiring you to wear a mask and get a vaccination?
Government? No. I have no problem personally with masks. I wear it all the time. Anytime I go up and if I see a constituent, if they look like they would want me to wear a mask, I'm perfectly okay with wearing a mask. If I can make somebody else feel better by wearing a mask, it doesn't bother me a bit. 2020, I did my entire job for an entire year wearing a mask from sunrise to sunset, and I do work as a skydive instructor, so that included 15 flights that day, I believe, from full altitude all the way back down, and I wear my mask 24/7. Doesn't bother me a bit, but I would never force my choices on other people.
How do you keep your mask on when you're falling through the air?
I actually wear what we call a head sock. So it is just would look just like a sock with the toe cut off, and you just stretch it right on over your head, and it'll keep me covered from here to here.
Okay. If appointed, do you intend to run for re-election?
Absolutely. I've already, like I said, I am a skydive instructor. It's been the largest passion in my life the last 15 years. I've got over 2,500 skydives to my name. I could go all through my ratings, but I enjoy it. It is now that my children, I've got about 5 days left of raising an 17-year-old, but here in a few days I'm almost done with the parenthood journey of my life. And literally, skydiving is the passion that fuels me. It is what I'm going to do for the next dozens of years. I love teaching. I love instructing. My first jump courses, I can't even go into how much I love it. However, it's been something that, in a lot of prayer over the last year, I've had to realize that my next decades going forward in service is to serve the constituents that I've been voted by. And so I've already taken the plans to take next year off skydiving to run my campaign. I think it's going to be a really interesting campaign. And the end of it is, although you 8 gentlemen get to make a selection next week, this week, next year, it will be the constituents of District 7 that I will be asking to elect me to this role. So I will be seeing you by the end of this year.
Thank you. Next week, Tuesday night, remember 5 o'clock.
I'll be here.
That's early. Oh, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. One follow-up question. Do you believe that issues in District 7 and District 8 are the same?
In the same, no. When we look at the city, and this is the trick, no issues are the same. If we look at District 7 and District 8, there are a lot of issues between the east and the west side of our city. We could also go ahead and divide that. Are the issues in the previous Ward 3 or Ward 2 the same? Absolutely not. Are the issues in one family to the family across the street the same? Absolutely not. The trick, I think, is that we are one family. Whether we look at our neighbor across the street, whether we look at our neighbors across the city, whether we look at our neighbors across the county, we are one human family learning how to live together, work together, and collect a little bit of taxes and pay for some programs together. But other than that, how we treat people every single day, I think determines who and what we are. And together, we are Jackson, and I'm very proud of our community.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Nothing further.
Thank you. We'll see you Tuesday, 5 o'clock.
Thank you.
Next up, I believe you're last. Sorry about that, but Thaddeus Williams. Welcome.
All right, thank you for having me.
Why do you wish to be a county commissioner?
Well, born and raised here in Jackson, I've always wanted to get involved with public service. I think it's very important for the people in Jackson, especially District 7, to actually see that it's okay to get involved. It's okay to participate in civic engagement and stay engaged. So that's why I'm here. I think it's a very big push in the nation overall for young people, young black people, young minority people all over to get to start taking their place. I think it's very important.
Thank you. What do you see as a primary function of a Jackson County Commissioner?
All right. Primary function, I just believe it's important just to be a spokesperson for the people that you represent. You should have their interests in your mind and in your heart at all time. Be very logical, be very rational. It's okay to be passionate about something, but you shouldn't let your feelings, overtake, logic. Roles, I think it's more, I understand the financial side, and that's very important, but I think it's more of a personal thing, more of a personal relationship that you need to try to push for.
What do you see as some of the largest issues facing Jackson County? Just a couple of them.
Well, the largest issues I do believe stem from poverty. Poverty is the overall main issue, and then all the other stuff I believe come from that. So I definitely would say poverty. I wouldn't necessarily, there's a lack of opportunity, there's a lack of people knowing what to do or how to get to the opportunity. If you can't see it, you can't achieve it. So I just think that there needs to be more of a push for financial literacy, more of a push for reinvestment into impoverished communities, and people could actually learn for themselves that there is a way out of that.
Okay. Wait. I know. When facing a budget shortfall, would you rather cut programs or increase taxes?
Well, I'm all about what is going to be overall best for everyone. I would have to lean more towards cutting the program just because taxes affect everybody. It's going to affect more people for raising taxes. So I will lean more towards cutting programs.
Do you support the sheriff's department, county jails, and the court systems?
Absolutely, yes. you need the police, you need the judges, you know, there are definitely issues, there are definitely things that need to get better, but, you know, law and order is definitely very important, it is needed. I will also like to say, and pose that question towards the other side as well, is, you know, with the police and the judges and the prosecutors, you know, I'll just say it like this. Is it possible to protect and serve a community that you have a hard time relating to or have a hard time trusting? I would just say that.
Okay. How has your life experiences prepared you to address those issues?
Well, you know, I do consider myself somewhat of an educated person. Like I said, I do have a degree in social sciences. I am a businessman. I'm all about financial literacy. I'm all about teaching, you know, trying to teach people how they can become self-sufficient and take care of themselves. Other experiences, you know, just like I mentioned before, I've helped a lot of students who might not possibly see college as an opportunity for them. I've helped them obtain their insurance licenses, state licenses, offered them also jobs, or if they choose to go to another agency, but they could go and in turn take that skill and make a living on their own.
Okay, sounds good. Do you believe government should require wearing a mask or getting a vaccination?
Absolutely not. I think that I'm very pro-choice. I'm just, you know, I think it's totally unconstitutional, un-American for anyone to force anyone to do anything like that.
Okay, if appointed, do you intend to run for another term?
Well, yes, of course, yes. I'm young. I think I might be the youngest one here. Very confident, very energetic. I know a lot of people in Jackson. You know, I do think I will have a lot of support, and I will love the opportunity to gain people's support. It will be my first time running for any type of public office, but I think I could definitely be successful and get the job done and continue on.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for applying. Tuesday night, 5 o'clock, meeting hours changed, so you'll be here a couple hours early.
Really, this question should have been for everyone, but you're the last one, so you're going to get it. The individual that graced that seat last time, he was an intelligent guy, but from my experience, he missed a lot of important things. And when we asked people tonight, what's your primary job as a county commissioner, it's to be prepared and it's to be knowledgeable about everything that you're voting on. So my question to you is, we have these meetings every month. The week before this, we had a study session. We have our regular meeting. In addition to that, we're asked to serve on subcommittees, each commissioner is. And I'm wondering, do you believe that regular good attendance is crucial in being a good county commissioner?
Oh, definitely. With my experience already on the Historical District Commission, you have to be there. You have to. That's just part of your obligation. Staying informed, doing your own research, going out asking other people how they feel about their opinions on it, so you can make the best informed decision or vote for how you want to proceed on that. Definitely, attendance is very important.
Okay, thanks. And really, that's for everyone, so you know exactly what you're getting into. And you're willing to make the commitment, because it's not a lot of money for the amount of time you put in.
Any other questions?
Thank you. Good luck. We'll see you next Tuesday night, 5 o'clock. Anybody apply that we don't have your name up here somehow? Thank you. Everybody make sure you sign the claims. We need a motion to report and support. Moved by Walls, supported by Pulaski. All in favor indicate by saying aye. public comment. This is a 2-minute public comment. Anybody for public comment?
You already knew I was coming back up here, right? To take advantage of these last 2 minutes, I want to address Commissioner Kennedy's comment or question.
They're comments only, that we won't respond.
Oh, okay, well, okay. So, and I've stated a couple of, I don't know, slogans or sayings. My mom always said, show up and show out. And so, and me being a little OCD, I will be there. I will be prepared. That's just built within my makeup to be prepared and also be willing to learn. So just wanted to address his comment.
Thank you. Any further public comment?
Yeah, I would also like to address Mr. Kennedy's comment. As a soldier, you have to be punctual, you have to be on time in the right uniform, and you have to be prepared. You have to be prepared for your mission. When I decided to seek this appointment, I committed to it. I committed to running for re-election, and just so that you all know that I will, be there. I'll show up on time, ready to do the tasks of the county. There's a couple other points that were brought up in other interviews that I would also like to address. My public service, I haven't ran for anything ever, but I'm on the ground in my community. The people there are important to me. The people are hungry. I am an outdoorsman. I hunt and fish, and I participate in Hunters for the Hungry. I donate several deer a year to Hunters for the Hungry. People in my community that I know that enjoy wild game, I fish for them, I hunt for them, just because they're elderly people that do love that. I've also been part of, and when I see a need, I do it. I've been a part of the Detroit cleanup effort that Scott Pressler did. We went out there and collected tons and tons of garbage just scattered around and boarded up homes that were being used for drug houses. So I know the issues that are there, and I'm willing to do the work.
Thank you. Your time
Thank
is
you.
up. Thank you. Any further public comment? Yeah, the
Hello?
2-minute one.
2 minutes, okay. I just want to address Commissioner Corey Kennedy. I will be at every meeting. The same work my life consumes with community service, is consumed with community service. My first phone call in the morning before I take my granddaughter to school is someone calling, needing help. So this will, if I get an opportunity to serve on the board, it will put me in a better position to help our community. So I will be committed to attend every meeting. And I just wanted to say one more thing about the gun violence. I reached out to our community to see what the needs are. And if we could create a gun violence intervention protection program. A lot of the children, I'm working with the youth right now, he wants to get out of the gang violence. His house is being shot up, so maybe we can use one of our county properties to provide a safe place for these kids to go and get help. And that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any further comment? Commissioner comment?
I just wanted to thank all of our applicants for coming out and sharing with us on today to help us make the best informed decision based off of the answers that were rendered. Just wanted to say thank you.
Further commissioner comment? Steve?
I'd like to thank the people who came this today and shared their opinions with us. You were very helpful. Understand that this is something that the Board of Commissioners has not done in the past. Normally, we work among ourselves to find a candidate to become the next county commissioner, and I really want to thank the community for working with the Board of Commissioners. Corey and I came up with this probably about 10 days ago and worked through the whole system, and we really appreciate you sharing your opinions and putting yourself out there. I know that there's a lot involved in this, and I really, really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Sir, Mr. Chair. Thanks for everybody showing up. Go ahead. Go ahead, Tony.
Sir, I did have to step out of the meeting to take care of some business, but I will be looking at the video, because this is important to me and I don't want to miss anybody's comments. So the part of time that I was out, I will be reviewing the video for that.
Go ahead.
A lot of great comments today, and again, I'd like to thank everyone for showing up and coming out here. It's going to be based on, it's nice to see a name with a face, and in my opinion, it's going to be a decision that we're going to have to wrestle with, because I think there's a lot of good candidates out here. Again, thank you for your time.
Commissioner, Administrator Overton? Sorry.
Thanks. Just for everyone's knowledge, I'm not a commissioner, and I normally never make comment, but I got to say, and I have no selection or no, choice and pick as to who will be one of my next bosses, frankly. But I got to tell you, I'm very impressed. I'm very impressed with the group here, and I would highly encourage you, if you are not the person selected, to join one of our other committees. I mean, we have other committees and needs in the county, and I know it's a little broader than what you're accustomed to, but we really do have needs in the county for good quality people who want to serve. So I'd love to see you guys on some other committees. And I would add one other thing in regard to our meeting next Tuesday night at 5 o'clock. We're going to do it a little different this year. We're going to have our meeting here, and then we're going to go down to the second floor for some punch and treats afterward, and we'd love to have everybody join us. So stick around. Thank you.